welcome to KAL and Knittin, episode 12. Yeah. I am Heather. I don't know why I had a right there, but I am Heather, and you can find me as @SpaceKitten3000 on Ravelry, Instagram, and Twitter.
And I am Chelsea. You can find me as @Gallialvia. I'll put that down here on Ravelry, Instagram, and Twitter as well. We have a heavy presence on Instagram particularly, and a bit of a presence on Ravelry. Sometimes I forget to update our Ravelry page and everything like that. Sorry about that, but thank you to those who update it for us.
Right.
Looking at you, Yarn Woman.
No kidding, huh? Also, you can find us as a duo on Twitter as @Gak Knittin. That's GAK Knittin. We're not as active as we should be, but I think as far as our knitting stuff goes that we post on Twitter, which for me personally is actually not a lot. I'm most active on Instagram with my knitting, but we will cross over and our knitting related stuff will go on our KAL and Knittin Twitter page. Yep. So yeah, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, hello, and it's nice to see you again, and thank you for hanging out with us once again. And if you're a new viewer, hi, and we are happy to see you, and we hope you enjoy your time with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming out and watching what we have to say.
Just hanging out with us. Yeah. So we have a fair amount to talk about today. We've got some new stuff. Gal did some stuff recently that's fiber related that we're going to talk about. The weather has actually been perfect for knitting. All week it's rained. I mean, raining consistently every day. And sometimes downpours.
Oh, yeah. And it's been, perfect, not too hot weather. Yeah. It's been a bit humid, but not too hot weather. Yeah. So it's felt like fall and felt like time to finally get that knitting out. So I have felt so ready for this and so excited. And I think this is the thing I needed to really get going again.
Jumpstart you into.
Jumpstart me, exactly. Yeah. So apparently the weather does affect me in my knitting.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's hard to want to knit when it's, 100 degrees outside and you have wool on your lap.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's hard. I actually got out my socks that I knit last year.
Nice.
And wait, no, not last year, March. That's when we did our sock knit along.
Oh, gosh.
So I actually wore my socks yesterday.
Nice.
And they were so cozy. And I was like, I really need to knit more socks because I really like them.
I really need to finish my socks from the Sockhead that I still have not finished.
You will.
Yeah.
It's just you need to do something that's not stockinette socks.
I agree.
You need to do a pattern.
I agree. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. So, finished objects. You have something for us this week.
I'm so excited. Let me grab it behind me here.
We're at Kitten's house this week.
Yeah, we are in my guest bedroom / office.
Our boys are recording their own podcast in another room, and I'm not really sure how we ended up down here this go round, but we're down here this go round.
Yep.
So,
well, they're doing the D&D stream next week, and so my husband wanted her husband, who's very techie, more so than my husband, to kind of go over some stuff for the stream as far as our internet and our setup.
I get left out of the planning. It's just, hey, we're going down. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm along for the
there's
ride.
going to be a D&D live stream, and we're having it at our house. But like I said, her husband is more techie than my husband. And so my husband just wanted Caleb to kind of go over some stuff. But anyway, so we have one podcast going on in my library / sewing room, and then one in the guest bedroom.
And just real quick, I know most of you probably will not be interested in this, but the D&D that they're going to be running is for Extra Life, which is a charity event that puts I think, games in the hands of children in hospitals and gives them a chance to play these games.
And they're doing OU Children's, which is in Oklahoma City. That's where the money they make from Extra Life will go to OU Children's, and they both did it last year as well.
Yeah. So we'll put the information for the event because they will be live streaming on Twitch down below. If you guys are interested, go take a look at it, and we'll put the schedule in there and everything like that. I'm sorry I'm giving you more work.
I do the show notes, but she does all the editing, so usually I have the easier job.
Giving you a bit more homework this time around, but we'll put the information down below. But we digress. Yeah. So show us your
Anyway, so I finished my Frosted Leaves by Lisa Hans. Hannes. And here it is. There's the leaf pattern right here. That's just garter. This is like a twisted rib. And I'll put it on real quick, but I'll probably take it off. But it is really pretty. I really like it. And it just, I really wanted to have it. Yeah, so.
That turned out beautiful.
I'm really happy with it. I think I'll wear the heck out of it. It's really, really pretty. I really like it. So I kind of finished it in the nick of time because I really, really wanted to have it done by today. And I knew I was going to have it done today, but I wanted it to be blocked. Yeah. Because it looks much better blocked. Like, it was much smaller pre-blocking. And I'm going to take it off now. It was much smaller and you couldn't see the pattern as well. And so I just wanted it to be blocked. And so I finished it last night. I soaked it and blocked it, and I was so worried that it wasn't going to be done by the time we recorded. So I had like a fan on a pile of books, like pointing down towards the shawl. I had it spread out. And then this morning, it still wasn't dry. So I got my hair dryer and was blowing hot air on it. And now,
that's the way to do it.
And now it is dry and it is blocked, but I really like it.
It's gorgeous.
See, close up of the leaf pattern there. So yeah, I was a little worried, not worried, that's being dramatic, but mine didn't seem to be, I was concerned that it wasn't going to be as big as I originally thought. And of course I didn't gauge because I just don't. But I knew while I was knitting it that I wasn't using as much yardage as the pattern said that you needed. And you do have a bit, like, you can go on this twisted, like, rib section is the last section. No, that's the garter section. This section here is the last section you do. You can go as long as you want. Like, you just keep going until you don't want to anymore. So I knew if I wanted it to be bigger, I could keep going on this. And I guess theoretically, no, I don't. Yeah, you could have kept going on the garter section too. But I was just following, she put exactly how many repeats of every section that she did. Except there was no option for the repeat on the leaf section. And I feel like if I was going to do a repeat, it would have been on the leaf section, but I didn't know how to go about doing that because of the pattern. Yeah. So, and I didn't want like a huge twisted, I didn't want this section to be like humongous. Yeah. And I wanted to be done by today, so I didn't want to like keep going. Because honestly, if I wasn't even going to show it if I didn't have it blocked. Yeah. Yeah, because I just was like, it's very, not that it's impressive now, but it didn't look like much before I blocked it. Before you blocked it. Anyway, I'm happy with it though. In the end, I'm really happy with it. I'm fine with how big it is. I think it'll be great. So yeah, I finished it and I'm happy because I needed those size needles for something else that I'll talk about in WIPs.
That was the hat box
Yes.
yarn by Mrs. Crosby Loves to Play in the Squiddy.
Yes, and I actually had 3 skeins at Sport Weight. I actually bought 2 when we were together, and you went back the next week, and I had you get me another one because I was gonna make something, I don't even remember, that I didn't end up making. And I don't even remember what it was. I think I was gonna try to make a boxy and use Sport instead of worsted or something like that.
That's right.
Decided not to do that because I'll talk about this more, but I have no confidence in knitting garments right now. So I actually only ended up using 2 skeins of the Sport Weight.
I don't know if you can hear my stomach.
I was like, her stomach was growling. I was like, what is that?
That was my stomach.
I probably gave you the weirdest look, huh? I was like, what is that?
I was hoping just to play that off.
We can cut this out.
We're cutting this out.
Okay. Sorry, I was just like, at first I didn't know what it was. I was like, what is that? I was like, it's your stomach. Okay. We'll go back. We'll cut that part out. Where should I start?
I'm probably not going to cut it out.
Okay.
Anyway.
So I had 3 skeins of the Squid Ink. I only used 2. So I have a full skein, which I think ends up being 320 yards of Sport Weight of Squid Ink left. So enough to make a hat or mitts or something like that. But I've actually kind of had my fill of Squid Ink, so I probably won't use it for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, you get kind of, when you're just doing one color, you kind of get tired of it. So I'll eventually come back to it, but not anytime soon.
Sure.
So that's my FO.
Yay!
And I'm happy.
Yay!
Yeah. What do you got?
I don't have any FOs this week. I, have still been dabbling in a little bit of everything. So I'll just kind of go into what I've been working on. So whips. We're moving on to whips.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just see what I happen to pull out first behind me. And I pulled out 2 things. So we'll just pull out this first one. So I have been working on the Sockhead Slouch hat by McClure I'm stuck on it. For a couple of reasons. So I recast on because there is 2 different KALs. I'm going to pick this up. Sorry, guys. 2 different KALs going on. One is the hat make along or knit along by Strings and More, the Strings and More podcast. The other is and that started September, and it goes through the month of September.
Yeah, you had to cast on September 1st.
Cast on September 1st, and since I wasn't sure about this on my needles anyway, went ahead and cast on again. So there's this guy, and then there is the bandwagon knit along.
Yeah,
it's joined like on the bandwagon knit along or something like that by Yarnder Woman, and it runs through the month of.
I think it started
October?
in August, or was that her read?
That was her read along.
Okay.
She's got 2 different KALs going on right now. One of them is read along, and it is a make along actually, where it is a make along.
Yeah, because you can crochet,
weave,
knit, whatever.
Spin, anything red. And I would like to actually spin for that one. I'm hoping to get some red to spin on, but I don't know if I'll have a chance to do it before the end of this month.
Right.
So, but her bandwagon goes through the end of next month, through the end of October, I believe. And so I'm using this for that because it's anything that is kind of bandwagon-ish, like other people are doing. Everybody talks about
something very popular.
Something very popular. And I think it's something that's supposed to be a little bit older too. Pattern wise. So this has been out for a while. It's a free pattern on Ravelry.
And there's, thousands of people who have done the Sockhead hat.
And so this is the Rainbow Dream by the Lemonade Shop. And it is just basically a bunch of stockinette stitch, which is perfect for the little rainbow pattern that's in this guy. And that's why I wanted to use it for this. So,
but this is going back to the what we were talking about with the socks, and that I said that Gal needed to try some pattern socks because I knew that stockinette with the socks was a bit boring for her, and that's kind of why she has not been able to finish them, because it's boring. It's not holding her attention. This is even more stockinette.
So she was asking me how I felt about doing all this stockinette, and I said, it's torture. It is torture. I don't enjoy sitting there doing a lot of stockinette unless there's, fortunately for me, there's an end goal here, and there is for socks too. I don't know why I'm just hung up on those socks. I just am.
Yeah.
But, if there's a pattern coming up or something like that for me to look forward to, it's a little bit easier for me to get through it.
Or if there's like a color change or something, if you're doing like stripes or something.
Well, because this was a bunch of garter.
Right.
And it was a slogged through this too. And this is the What the Fade by Andrea Mowry. And I love this guy, but there too, it was a slog. But I had some color changes that I got to look forward to throughout the work. This is just, every time I work on it, I look forward to either working with the color section, or whenever I get to the end of a color section here, and get to knit into that, I look for those. So that is how I'm having to pace myself through this project. Fortunately, I'm able to find the little beauty to keep me moving along in this pattern. Because hey, it's just like torture to me. And I don't know why it is. I'm obviously somebody that, and it's so funny because I haven't really looked into lace, and I probably need to look more into lace because that might be where I need to end up being. I don't know. Lace. I know. But I haven't done a whole heck of a lot of lace. So I'm wondering if maybe that's what I need, is that challenge in my knitting, and less take along knitting, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So that was that guy. What have you been working on the other hand,
love stockinette. I could do it all day long. And I'm also participating in, I've only put this one in the Strings and More KAL so far. But this is also my Sockhead hat. And I'm using Lamb Strings, who is Shanna of Strings and More. I'm using her... Bless you!
Excuse me.
I'm using her Tralala sock in the Leaky Cauldron colorway, which is Harry Potter reference.
And so we actually, let's show them side by side.
I did a smaller brim. So we almost have the same amount, but hers is just more brim than mine.
Yeah.
I think you've done a little bit more than me, actually.
The pattern calls for 4 inches of, oh my gosh, ribbing. Thank you. Calls for 4 inches of ribbing, and then you just fold it over whenever you wear it.
I did it 1.5 inches on mine because I didn't want to fold over.
She didn't want to fold over, and I honestly probably don't want to fold over either, but I kind of felt like knitting it to the pattern, at least the first time I make this hat, because I imagine I'll make this hat again, honestly.
Even though you hate stockinette?
Even though I hate stockinette, it is a nice one to just have with you to work on. It would be a good gift hat, honestly, or anything like that. So I will probably work on another one again. But there's a difference between ours. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
You're telling the story about yours.
But anyway, this is what I've got. I think I have 3 more inches of stockinette to go before I do the decreases. And I love stockinette. That might be why I love socks. I can sit and do stockinette in the round for hours, and I have. I love it. I have a job where a lot of my time, I have a desk job, and a lot of my time is spent transferring files from one system to another. And some of those files take seconds, some of them take minutes. And I've been having this in my lap for the times where I have to wait on those things to transfer over. And I can just sit there and do it and wait till it's done and then, go about my work. Because otherwise I would just be sitting there doing nothing. So just waiting. And that's actually pretty much how I've knit this hat so far, is just having it while I'm doing work stuff. So, and that's also, I like doing socks too, because I can do it while I'm waiting for those things while I work. But I also like TV watching and doing it. I've gotten pretty fast at it, at just stockinette. I just pulled some off of my needle. I've gotten pretty fast at doing it now, so I feel like I can knit like socks and stuff pretty fast. So yeah, it's just, preference.
Absolutely.
But stockinette for years I can do. I could make this hat super long if I wanted to and not get tired of it.
That would be funny. Have instead of the Doctor Who scarf, have a Doctor Who hat.
I was more thinking of like the cat in the hat instead of the top hat, just having a big slouch hat that's like way out. That's ridiculous. But anyway, I really do like it. I love the color. If you watched a few episodes ago, I was talking about just wanting a neutral hat, but not wanting it black or gray really. And this is exactly what I wanted. So, I love it. So yeah, that's one of my whips, and I'm keeping it, and a cute bag that I got from KAL in Canada. And it's funny, we're actually keeping our hats, the same hat, in the same kind of bags that she got in Canada. She's doing her Canada one.
Yep.
And we did not plan that. It just happens to be the perfect bag.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I'll probably have that done by the next
I think I will too.
podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, been spending a lot of time on it.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I've actually been spending quite a bit of time on is the Shusui Shrug.
Yay!
And
I don't know why I'm so happy for her to, I just want to see this. I'm just so, she told me she was working on it the other day when we were texting, and I was so happy.
Well, and it's all tangled up, so I don't know how easily I'm going to be able to show this. Yeah, it's all tangled. But I was watching By the Lakeside's last podcast from August the other day.
Her. She's so wonderful.
And I realized I haven't been using my progress keepers of late. Shame on me. I don't really know why I quit using them, but I decided as I was knitting this, I would put a progress keeper in. So at least you can see where I was at one point in time. But I did.
Which one are you using?
I am using
the Pride and Prejudice.
The Pride and Prejudice one.
Mm-hmm. By Judith Price.
By Judith Price Artworks, and she's got some gorgeous jewelry, guys. We'll put a link to it below, but her Instagram is amazing. But anyway, so here is what I've done so far on this guy. I am now to the shoulder increases. So I am finally to the second section of this pattern. But slowly but surely we are getting somewhere on it.
I like it. I know we've talked about it before with the brioche not being a big contrast, but I really like it.
No, I do too. I've come into it, and it kind of matches my hair right now.
It does.
And
you've got a theme going here.
I do have a theme.
Even with this and then your hat, you're going to have just a wardrobe of rainbow that you can just...
A rainbow of color.
And actually, she has emerald green hair now, and it's so beautiful. I think it's one of my favorites that you've had.
Really? Well, thank you.
I really like it.
Thank you. It's like a game. What color is Chelsea's hair going to be this week?
She told me she was doing it, and it's always kind of hard for me to picture. And then when I saw her last week, it was the first time I saw her that she had it, and it's one of my favorites that you've had.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you.
Anyway, hair tangent. Okay, I only have one more whip that I've actively been working on, and it's actually one that I cast on last night after I blocked my shawl. And I'm using the Gilbert Blythe by Hooker's Corner. And last podcast I talked about maybe pairing it with a Madeline Tosh set for the Spectrum shawl by Joji Locatelli. And then after I skeined it, because it was just in a hank last time, I caked it up, put them together, and Gal was right. It just wasn't meshing. So this was on my queue anyway, and I don't know, it was just on my radar. But it's the Close to You by Justyna Lorkowska. And
I'll put a picture up.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have to show that. But anyway.
Just things to think of.
I only have this much. Because I just started. It's going to fall in my drink. I just started last night and just worked on it for, I don't know, hour, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I've got so far. And I like it.
It looks really pretty together.
It's just, it's a pretty easy pattern. It's a free pattern. It's just 14 rows. 12 of those rows are repeats. So it's not a hard pattern. And you just keep doing that until you feel like it's big enough for you. So it's pretty customizable. And it only takes one skein. This is actually what I was trying to remember when Gal was wondering, trying to think of a pattern to use for her hedgehog fibers that you got. This was the pattern I was trying to think of, and I couldn't remember what it was called. After the fact, I showed her. She's like, that's not really my style. But anyway, this is what I got. It's pretty. I think I'll like it.
And
it keeps hitting my glass. Sorry.
We also talked about the Raina and doing the Raina as well. And
you think you're gonna do that one?
The more I look at it, the more I'm thinking about it. I
did the Raina, and I don't know. Because I don't gauge, I have no idea if I'm a loose knitter or a tight knitter or whatever. I've never done a gauge in my whole knitting life. Ever. So I have no idea how I knit. But I'm sensing a pattern that I might knit tight because everything comes out smaller than I think it's going to. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happened with the Raina, because actually that was the first shawl I ever made. And I like it, but I think it's supposed to take up a whole skein of fingering weight, but mine did not, and I followed the instructions. It's just a very, it's a short little... shawl, like wrap. It's not supposed to be big enough for you to like wear it over your shoulders shawl. It's more of like a wraparound type of shawl where the triangle here and then, it wasn't quite big enough. I've worn it. It's pretty. But since you actually know how you knit.
Not so much anymore.
No,
I used to knit pretty loosely, and it's been a while since I've actually needed to gauge something. And so I feel like I've actually, well, that's not true. I did gauge something the other day, and I think I had to go down a needle size. So maybe I am still knitting loosely, but I feel like I've tightened up my knitting just because I was getting so loose in my knitting, I was no longer fitting my gauges. I need to sit down and actually work on a gauge swatch though again, just so I know.
I just, I don't know. I don't like spending the time on it. And in my head, I'm like, I'm spending time for nothing, but it's not for nothing. It's just not for... It's not a project, but it is for a project. But I think I have this mind block of like, I'm spending this time for nothing. It's not getting me anything. But that's not true at all.
No.
But that's just what I think in my head.
There is something, I'll have to look it up, but it's a way to look at swatches and how they tell the story about your yarn, because there's a lady she'll take an entire skein of yarn and just swatch different things. That way she knows how the yarn works.
Some people love swatching. There's a podcast. I think I know which one it is, but I'm not going to say because I might be wrong. But there is a podcast that I've watched where she actually loves swatching. Yeah. She loves it.
I don't love it, but it's a means to an end for me.
Yeah.
Is the way I kind of look at it is it's going to be...
It is beneficial in the end.
I garment knit, so
that's something I'll talk about.
That's part of it too.
Anyway, what else you got?
So
that long weekend cardigan.
That long weekend cardigan that's going on for a very long weekend. I am almost through the increases on this last sleeve.
Yay.
So we're getting there. I did work on this just a little bit this last week. So I probably got, a couple of inches maybe in this guy. So not a whole heck of a lot, but I did work on him a little bit.
So after you finish this sleeve, what do you have?
So
the
after
neckband?
I still have the neckband and two
and
pockets.
Neckband means the whole
it
goes
knee
the whole
around to knee.
Right.
So there's that. And the pockets I don't think will take very long at all because
No.
it's a worsted weight yarn, so it knits up fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a basket rib pattern thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is a 4 repeat pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like...
This is going to be really warm, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a very, thick knit.
Yeah. It's going to be really nice whenever it's all blocked and everything.
And it'll match everything you've been making. It'll match this. It'll match hats. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice neutral, solid color, and...
We need to throw a party after you get done knitting the long weekend cardigan. It'll be like a 3-year anniversary.
Have a special episode just to go, this is what the cardigan looks like. It's been 2 years that I've been working on this
And you
guy.
better wear the heck out of it to make it worth it.
I better. Which reminds me, so I made the tea leaf cardigan by Bristol Ivy. She's got a new sweater coming out that I sent to you the other day.
Yes, that one's gorgeous.
That looks amazing. So that is on my want to makes. When that comes out, I will probably buy the pattern and look at it and go ooh and ah and probably not work on it for at least a year because there are so many other things that I've got to get finished and everything like that.
The list goes on.
Yeah. So what's on your queue?
Well, this kind of brings me into kind of, you had texted me that, new pattern. And it's beautiful. It's something I would wear. However, skills. I have very high confidence in my garment sewing skills, not my knitting skills. And it bums me out. And now I almost think that I have like a mind block that's hindering me. Like I'm, I don't know what it is.
Gun
it's
shy.
just, yeah. And this is actually something we haven't talked about yet, but I came across a pattern on Ravelry. I think I was being a lurker on somebody's favorites page. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, what is this person like on Ravelry? And I came across a pattern and I kind of fell in love with it. And I don't know if I'm going to be saying it right. Deschain, it's Deschhain, by Leila Raabe. And I came across it and really, really loved it. And I have the pattern. We'll put a picture, of course. But I went ahead and printed the pattern, and it's a Kitten Co. pattern, and it uses the Kitten Co. Kestrel yarn, which I would have to order. I believe it's a cotton linen blend. And you only need, I think, it's a worsted. I think you only need like 550 something for the size I need, which is not a lot. Considering it's like a pullover. Again, we'll have a picture. I forget. Gal does really good with putting pictures up when we talk about patterns. But that's not actually a lot for a pullover. It's an open pullover. But the Kitten Co. Kestrel only comes in skeins of 76 yards, so I would need like 8 of them. And so it would be, $80, which for quality yarn is not, that's normal. However, because my confidence is low with garment knitting, I'm hesitant to go ahead and spend the money to do that. So If you are a sewer or you know anything about sewing, you might have heard the term a muslin, making a muslin. And if you're not familiar with that, making a muslin is basically if you have a pattern that you're not sure about, that has techniques that you're not sure about, or if you're confident with the pattern yet you have a very nice, luxurious fabric that you know you don't want to mess up on, you make a muslin, which is basically you make that pattern in a cheaper fabric that a muslin is a kind of fabric, that you can check for size, you can check your skills and things like that, so you don't have to cut into the fabric that you're going to use. I have decided to do that with this project.
Okay.
I am knitting a muslin. Okay. So, because there's only, and you wouldn't want to, I mean, if you need to, if you need like 1,000 yards of a yarn, you wouldn't want to do this. But because it's just 500 and, let's just say 600 yards of yarn, I went to my local hobby store and bought cheap yarn. And it's actually pretty soft.
Yeah.
But it is acrylic and nylon. And it's Yarn Bee Sweet Divinity in the color Gray Clouds. So, there you go. I bought 3 skeins of this, which is like almost 700 yards. And I'm going to make a muslin of this. It's worsted weight. You use 10.5 knitting needles, so I can't imagine it taking very long. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And if it turns out really good, then I will buy the Kitten Co. Kestrel yarn because it's really pretty.
Here's what I think we should do after we are done podcasting.
Yeah.
We should have a swatch party.
Ugh, that sounds terrible.
But that way you can make sure your gauge is right. That way you're not wasting all that time.
Well, for this, there's supposed to be 20 inches of positive ease. So this is not going to be a gauging problem.
Okay.
Size is not the problem in this case because the smallest size I think is a bust of 54. I'm a 34 bust. The smallest size is going to be fine for me in this. Yeah. This is not a fitted sweater.
Okay.
So gauge is not the problem. The construction is the problem for me on this one. It is... I'm going to have to work on seaming again, which is not my strength. But you knit the body in 2 pieces and you seam the sides and the shoulders. And then you pick up stitches for the arms. Mm-hmm. And then you do a collar. You pick up stitches and do kind of like a little collar. So the only seaming I'll have to do is actually the sides and shoulders. I'm thinking of doing a 3-needle bind off for the shoulders. Okay. Even though that's not what it's called for, but I think I'll have better luck with a 3-needle bind off, though I've never done it before, but I'm bad at seaming. Again, this is all stuff that I just need to work on. That's why I'm not going to spend $90 on yarn. I spent $15 on yarn. I'm going to try it out first because the time I spend on it, which I know that if I bought the yarn and it didn't work out, I could retake it and use it for something else. Mm-hmm. However, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to be super bummed and feel like I can never knit a garment ever. And then I will never do anything with that yarn.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do.
Good for you.
And we'll see. But I really like this color. It's kind of a purpley gray. It's acrylic. It's 75% acrylic and 25% nylon. It is pretty soft. And if the garment works, I will wear this. I'll still, if it fits and I like it, I will wear this. I actually saw quite a bit of... I looked through all the project pictures and people were wearing it with like, because there's a lace panel and with like just like a tank top underneath and like little sneakers and it looked really cute. Yeah. That's how I want to wear it.
Yeah.
So that's in my queue. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like I just, that's just what I want to do and see how it works out.
Yep.
And if it doesn't, I'll never try to knit a garment ever again. Just kidding.
I was about to say, wow, that's so definitive.
That's not true. I'll just be really bummed out and think I suck at everything. And then I'll knit something and it turns out nice, and then I'll decide that I don't suck.
There you go.
Anyway, other than that, the only other thing that's pretty definitely in my queue, that doesn't make sense. We talked about the Yarnder Woman, is it the Read Along?
Read Along.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Her, because it was her 40th birthday, or is her 40th birthday. Anyway, her favorite color is red. And I love Yarnder Woman. She's Melinda from Yarnder Woman, and you should check out her podcast if you haven't. She's from Perth, Australia, and she's wonderful. And her favorite color is red, so she's doing a knit along where it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing as long as it's red. I think that I am going to try to participate in that. Does the Read Along end in September?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Get on it.
Yeah, I could maybe do a hat, which is what I was kind of planning anyway. I have 2 red yarns, and red is not a color that I wear a lot, but I do have a couple of red yarns. I have that Malabrigo Rios that I bought quite a while back. I think I've shown on a podcast before, but I haven't done anything with it yet. I might make the Chevy hat by Andrea Mowry. And it's a kind of a chevron pattern. I might do that. I also have a red Knit Picks fingering weight, the Stroll fingering. I also have a skein of that, which the skein of that's like 225 yards. It's like it's like 50 grams. I also have that, and it's like a deep, more burgundy red. It was what I was using for the Wonder Woman shawl, which one day I'll finish. I don't know.
I was thinking about starting that the other day, actually.
Honestly, at this point, I would just start over completely, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not, it's not close enough anymore where I'm like so mad about all the work I put into it, because that was so long ago that I don't have like the frustration of it anymore, that I would just redo it.
Yeah.
But I also have that, and I was looking at doing a turban, and sorry, I'm looking at my notes. It's the Beauty School Turban by Amy Appel, Appel. She has like 3 or 4 cute kind of retro-y turbans. And I was thinking that I would like, I like the look of it. This is the thing. I like the look of a lot of things, but I don't wear a lot of the things. I'm pretty simple as far as like what I wear. So I don't know, like I like the thought of it, but I don't know if I'd actually wear it or not. But it's really cute. And all of her turbans are really cute. I think that one might take a little longer though than the Chevy hat. So if I need to get it done by the end of the month, I haven't bought either pattern yet, so I actually don't know what the pattern is like. One's with worsted and one's with fingering. The Chevy is with worsted. So I don't know, but I need to get my rear in gear if I'm going to try to get anything done by September 30th so I can enter the KAL.
Yep.
In honor of Melinda's birthday.
Yep.
So that's really all I've been, I think. Let me look. Yeah, that's it.
So and talked real quickly about the new Bristol Ivy pattern that's coming out, that I want to do that. I watching her work on A Girl's Best Friend shawl by Isabell Kraemer, I love that. So I've actually been dyeing up some yarn to work on that. It's all bright colors, but I'm going to dye. I've started the process. I've got one skein because I was kind of playing around yesterday. I've got one skein done and I need to finish 2 other skeins because it's 3 colors. So I'm planning on doing those, and mine will be a very bright version, very bright and colorful version, because that's just all the dye that I have right now are very bright and colorful colors. I actually was wanting to do it more muted, but it is what it is. So that will be hopefully in the works soon. We'll see. There's so many shawls I want to do, guys. It's ridiculous.
Shawls are so fun.
I know.
They're really, really fun to do.
I want to cast on all the projects.
And I'm still working. I didn't talk about it because I haven't actively worked on my A Girl's Best Friend shawl, but I still have it. I was just focusing on the silver leaf so I could get it done because I was closest to getting it done. But it's so good. Yeah. There's only one section that takes forever. Yeah. And that's the section that I'm on. Yeah. Because not only are you working with 300 stitches, but you're making 5 stitches into 1 stitch. Yeah. So but I'm on the longest section, so I think once you get past that, it's
kind of smooth sailing.
But I did a few. Well, it was, I want to say, one of our first episodes. Gal surprised me with the little peanut butter and jelly best friend progress keepers. And I chose the peanut butter one, and I actually put it on A Girl's Best Friend shawl last night because I was like, it's called A Girl's Best Friend. I need to put my peanut butter sandwich on there, so you need to put your jelly one on there when I start that. Yeah, it's only fitting.
Yep, I'll have to switch because that one's on my knit night shawl, which I haven't picked up in months now.
Yeah, that's what I just put a different one on there. I had this grumpy cat one that I put on my Gilbert Blythe stuff. But yeah.
So, and you guys, it is September. I've decided that I want to make mittens for the kids and my sisters-in-law, this year. And so I need to get working. I'm going to make the Moonstone mittens by Wolfville Studios for my sisters, and there's just a generic mitten pattern that I'm going to make for the kids. I've got 3 nephews and a niece. So I'm going to work on that. And this year I really need to knit hats for the guys because I didn't knit anything for the guys, the brothers last year.
I was going to make my dad a hat last year because we had... last Christmas was the first Christmas that we were in this house. We bought this house about 1.5 years ago, and we hosted Christmas last year. And it was the first Christmas at our house. And my parents live about an hour away from me and my husband, and then my brother and his family. And so we had my parents spend the night here so that they would just be up here. We usually have Christmas at my brother's house, which is 5 minutes away from me, if that. So we had my parents spend the night. And I made stockings for my parents and my husband for Christmas morning. And I wanted to make, which my dad probably watches this, so he'll know, but I was going to make my dad a hat, and I just didn't do it, so I kind of want to this year. I think it was called the fisherman's cap or something like that. It was free on Ravelry. Yeah. And I just thought it was his style, and I almost made one for my brother too. And I didn't. But maybe I should this year. Yeah. And Nick actually Nick is my husband. He's really digging the Leaky Cauldron hat I'm making. So I'm almost wondering if I should make him a hat. And then we'll be that couple that wears matching outfits, and we'll have matching hats. We are so not that couple. But he really, really likes that yarn a lot.
You know, that's funny because I bought some Mrs. Crosby Loves to Play yarn. That is similar to, it's a lighter, it's browns instead of grays with the brown, but it's browns with a little bit of gray. And I don't remember the name of the color. It was Charlie or something like that.
Yeah, because some of her yarns have
the male names.
The male names, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and Anyway, but I bought that so I would make a hat for my husband. Maybe that's something I need to add into my Christmas knitting is the hat for my husband. Except that hat that he wants, you guys, I knitted it for my father last year. It took forever because it's a sport weight. It took forever.
And it was too small, right?
It was too big.
Oh, too big.
It fit Caleb perfectly, but he's got a buffalo head is what my sister-in-law says.
That's funny. Both of our dads are smaller guys, and so I was like, if it was too, if that was too big for your dad, then it would be too big for my dad, because our dad's
and I gauged that guy too, I'm pretty sure. So go figure. And that was when I knew I was knitting loose, and there's just no telling. So so Christmas knitting is about to start happening. Yay!
Yeah.
Boo, because there's all these things I want to knit for myself. Are you guys selfish knitters, or are you guys like giving knitters? Because
I'm selfish.
Find myself so much more selfish in my knitting than I am wanting to give away. I'm like, I just don't want to end up in that Christmas crunch that I ended up last year where I made like 8 hats in like 15 days or something like that. That was ridiculous.
I've only knit one thing for anybody, and that was my mom's socks. Yeah. And that was because they didn't knit.
Yeah.
So, it's just, I just think it's because, knitting things takes time. And when you have a job and you have other things to do, you don't, the time that you spend is, I don't know. I feel like a jerk.
No, I get it. I feel
like a jerk.
I get it.
Also things for people, because that doesn't take as long. But knitting just takes, a while.
There's a reason why they say, is this person knit worthy? I mean, it takes a lot of your time, a lot of your heart, and tears and sweat and cursing and over a pattern. And
it's true. I do want to make my husband a pair of socks, though.
Yeah.
I think, oh my gosh, but his feet are a lot bigger than mine. It'll take a while.
It will take a while.
But I think he likes being cozy. So do I. Like, if I could just be in winter pajama bottoms and socks and sweatshirts all the time, I would. And he's the same way. Like, he's wearing a sweater right now. But I think he would appreciate socks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of Miss Crosby, you had a dye class.
I did. So I had the dye class with Amanda Jarvis is her name. She is the owner of Lorna's Laces and Mrs. Crosby Loves to Play Yarns. I kept calling it a class because I had assumed it was a class. It was more along the lines of...
It was just like an event.
Oh, well, it was an event. It was kind of like, how they have those paint and wine classes. It was more along the lines of like the paint and wine classes where you just go, everything's kind of made up for you. So we didn't go through like any of the safety procedures or anything like that.
Sorry, they're getting drinks. So if you can hear our ice machine, I'm sorry. Our refrigerator's against that wall.
You know what? We've done that to them before, so it's probably just fair.
If you hear my ice maker, sorry about that.
But yeah, so it was more of a go in and have fun dyeing your skein, which I've got behind me somewhere. Thank you. So this is what I created, and this is out of her carpet bag base, which I can't remember exactly what the base is.
Got my black doggy hair on it because Gypsy lays on here when I'm working.
If it doesn't have black doggy hair, it's got white kitty hair and white doggy hair. So anyway, but this is what I dyed up. It's a speckled yarn. It's got chartreuse, aqua, and gray in it. I am thinking about, there is something called the something called the like steampunk kerchief or something like that. It only calls for like 230
I know what you're talking about.
It's like a single skein of DK. But I'm thinking about maybe making this into that, and I'll put a picture of it up here too.
You know what this reminds me of is the bulky that you got at L&B that you made the
oh yeah,
shrug out of it. It was green and blue like that.
Yeah, it was. It had some yellow. Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I know what you're talking about. So,
I really like this. The colors are really, really pretty.
Thank you. So I did that. And also there is, a group of spinners that are local, about 30 minutes outside of town from here, that get together once weekly and spin together. Right now they're working on a project for the state fair, which if you don't live in the States, it's like you can get into big deals in these state fairs, and like they're doing a farm to fashion right now. And so they're taking like wool from these local sheep and having it milled, and then they're spinning it up and weaving it into a scarf, and that is going to be what they enter into this fair. And so it kind of worked out where, so Friday is when they get together, and my mother-in-law and I decided we wanted to get together with them. We didn't know this was going on, so we go to their studio, and there's nobody there except for this gentleman in the back who was like, oh yeah, you just missed them. They left for the day.
Oh no.
And they're usually there from 11 to 4. Well, it's just now like 1:30 at this point. So we're like, well, we thought they were here all day. I wonder what happened. We managed to get a hold of them, kind of long story how we got a hold of them, but we managed to get a hold of them, and they're at the local mill. We have a local mini mill here in Oklahoma, and they're at the mill spinning, and they invited us to come over and sit down and spin with them. So we got to go over to the local mini mill. I got a tour because I have not been able to go to the local mini mill before. I got a tour of the mini mill.
That's cool.
Yep. And got to see the process of them, milling this wool, this fiber. And that was so cool. And then I sat down with them, and it's so funny. So we sit down, we've got 2 wheels. One of them is like a 150-year-old wheel from Iceland. And the other one is a Lindrum wheel. And the really old wheel I've been able to spin on before. It's a beautifully spinning wheel. But the Lindrum I have had issues with. And we go in there and we start setting up the wheels. And one lady puts a little bit of oil on this wheel, on the Lindrum. And then another lady realizes that the bobbin that we've got is a homemade bobbin that is too big for the Icelandic wheel. And then, so we switch out bobbins on that guy, put a little oil on, and then we are set to go and ready to go, and we are spinning on both of these wheels. Apparently, the problem that we'd been having was we were not oiling
Gotta oil that wheel.
Gotta oil that wheel.
Was it not squeaking? You didn't know you needed to oil it?
It wasn't moving.
Oh,
It wasn't moving at all. Like it was the bobbin wasn't moving. And in the case of the Icelandic wheel, is because the bobbin was too big. In the case of the Lindrum wheel, it was because it just needed to be greased. And go figure. I mean, that's all it took, was just sitting down and oiling the wheels and going. And I kind of looked over at my mother-in-law. I was like, when was the last time you oiled these wheels? Because they're both her wheels. I just get to spin on them. And she goes, I don't know that I ever have.
Well, there you go.
We learned we needed to oil our wheels. But so I've been spinning the last couple of days now, because we're recording this on Sunday and I went Friday. And so I've been spending the last couple of days on the art bat that I got from DFW Firefest from Leon Alexander. And so you can find pictures of that, the yarn that I'm spinning up on my Instagram. And I am hoping, that I will get enough out of that to make 2 bobbins so I can ply them together. Because I'm hoping to get a double ply out of it. We'll see what happens. It's a process I'm learning right now, and I now that I've been there with the group that spins, I've been invited back next Friday, and so I'll go next Friday and hopefully learn more from them. I don't want to disturb them too much right now because they are getting ready for this big state fair, so I don't really want to pick their brain too much right now. It was just kind of them to get us started and get our foot in the door. It's so funny because I said, I don't spin. I've just kind of done this thing one time, and then I sat down and started working with the wheel, and they go, what do you mean you don't spin? You're spinning right now. And I was like, I promise it didn't look this good last time. You just did something magical to the wheel. But it was really great. And
good.
It was nice to be a part of that community. And so they were so welcoming. It was great. Just the fiber community is just an amazing. I know we say this every time, but the fiber community is an amazing community.
So supportive and encouraging. It's really nice.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, because I know we are kind of running short on time for once.
But you need to talk about these two things too. I don't have any acquisitions, so you need to talk about those.
I'm going to talk about my acquisitions. So I got some of the Flexi Flips by Addi.
Which I was watching some podcast and I don't remember which one it was, but I saw these and I'd never heard of them before, and I almost texted her because she doesn't like DPNs.
I don't like DPNs.
Yeah.
So I thought I would try these on the hat that I'm working on there at the end, because I didn't really, my cables are all in use right now.
Your DPNs? No,
my cables. And so I didn't want to switch to a larger cable to do magic loop.
Oh, I was thinking of cabling needles. I was like, that hat doesn't have any cables. What are you talking? You're talking about like the cables. Okay, I was thinking of cabling needles. No, I was like, whoa, I don't think there's any cabling.
No, in my avoidance of double pointed needles, I decided that I wanted to do magic loop on that hat, but my loops so I had two choices. I could either buy new cables, which I didn't even see new cables at my local yarn store when I was there the other day, or I could try something new. And I decided to try something new, and I bought these, and we'll give them a try and see how they work for me. We'll see, because it's essentially double pointed, so we'll see if I even like them.
Instead of 5, you're using 3.
Instead of 5, I'm using 3, and they're going to be wibbly wobbly. And
I like double pointed needles.
I know, and I've worked on them.
It's all it's just all preference.
I don't mind large double pointed needles, like the thick ones. It's when I'm dealing with the smaller sizes, I feel like I'm just going to break them, because I did break one before.
Yeah, you did.
And it just wasn't fun. So you guys, I splurged and I got the ChiaoGoo twist minis, or shorties rather.
They're so tiny. They're so tiny, so cute.
They're so tiny. So this is size 2 millimeter to size 3.25 millimeter, which is US size 0 through 3. So 0, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. And it comes in like 2 inches and 4 inches, I think, are the sizes of the needles that are in them. So it comes with two of each size, or two of each, like, needle size has a different length. And then it also comes with 3 different size cables. So if you wanted to use the 5-inch cable and the 2-inch needles, you could make size 9, 9 needles for your 9-inch needles for circulars for your
socks or whatever.
Thank you. I couldn't get the words out.
Which I've really been thinking about getting the lace needle interchangeable set because the interchangeable set that I have is Knit Picks, and I'm perfectly happy with those, but you can't get anything smaller than a US 4. And so if I want anything smaller than that in circular, I have to buy them separate.
Right.
So I've been thinking about getting a lace set because that there's been a couple of things recently where, like, I have a size 2 16-inch, which I would need for if I want to do that turban. But then I need a size 3 also. I don't have that, so I'd have to buy it. Which, it's not the expense, it's more the convenience of just not having to go out and buy each of these every time. I really like being able to unzip my case and have the cables and, deciding having what I need. I don't want a bunch of needles,
it's
like
about
all
having
different.
The tools for the project that you need.
I just don't want to have like a size you know, 2, 16, 24, 32, 40, and having to store all those. I just want the needles and the cables. I have a case. I just want that for just convenience sake. So I have been thinking about getting the lace knit set.
I love my red lace set.
Yeah.
My red
and
lace
actually,
lists.
I forgot the hat, the Sockhead hat. What size does it call for? Size 2.5?
I'm using size 3.
Oh, I don't remember, but whatever. Maybe it was size 3. I don't know. I have it right here. I don't know why. I just don't look. But anyway, I was thinking I was going to have to. I was thinking I was going to have to buy the needles. Oh, size. I'm using size 2.5. Oh my gosh, looks pretty cute.
Yeah, it's gonna fit. She got me concerned my hat wasn't gonna fit.
No, I didn't need to do that.
I had to try it on.
You want me to try mine on too?
Here you go. Yay!
See? I think they'll both fit.
Yay! Mine's definitely a loose, but I like mine loose.
But I'm using, it's 2.5, and of course, since I don't gauge, I'm tangled. I just use what it calls for. But I thought I was going to have to buy some, and I don't like to buy needles because I don't want to. So I was just going to use my size 2, because I already had them. And then I was going through a bunch of stuff in this closet that's over here in my guest room, which is not where I keep my knitting stuff, really. I was just going through stuff, and I bought size 2.5 ChiaoGoos. 16-inch. I don't remember. I probably bought them for the Sockhead hat because this was, I like thought about knitting this before. And I was like, heck yeah, I've got these.
Nice.
And I really like them. They're nice.
Nice.
So I'm glad I found these, or I would have just bought like some stupid.
So you have had a chance to work on the ChiaoGoo red lace needles. So
I like
you know.
Yeah.
You know they're good.
Yeah. So actually I was going to order the Likey, whatever. Yeah. I was going to order some of those. But then I found these and I was like, oh my gosh, I have some. I don't need to spend, that's $10 I can spend on something else.
There you go.
Size 3s, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, thank you so much for keeping us company for the last hour. And, you know, if you liked us this time, give us a like down there. Make sure to share us with your friends. And thank you so much again for all of your support and for following up with us. So, and for all of your kind words on Instagram, because you guys are so sweet. You are.
Yeah.
So
we'll see you next time. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting.
Bye.